What's going on, guys? Dan back with the Regular Guy Garage. So we ended up getting our parts in for the to finish up, well, most of the engine. We got a Ram HDX clutch. I believe they said this was good for about 400 or so horsepower, which is, we should be below that, but I'm hoping to be close to that. So the clutch is good for about 400 horsepower. I got a new clutch cable that's adjustable at the end. The cable that was in this car was super, super tight. So I just wanted to get that whole thing changed out. We got a new pivot stud, which I'll show you on the transmission. The one that is in there now is just beat up bad. Got my push rod length checker tool. I'm just gonna go through one more time. I think I need longer push rods, so I'm gonna check that out real quick. And then we got the head bolts, and there should be, okay, yeah, it's right there. This is just a new clutch quadrant, double hook to put inside the car. I'm gonna get going on the head bolts to start with, and then gotta get the lifters back in. The lifters are a little bit taller than the stock lifters, so I have to actually lift the head up a little bit, drop all the lifters in. So I'll drop all those in, go ahead and bolt the head down, and then get to work on checking to see what size push rods I actually need. And then what I want to do is get under the car, get this trans back in, drive shaft, all that good stuff. And we are getting really, really close to finishing this thing up. I can't believe how quick it's really been. I think I've really only made, 10 videos or so on it. But yeah, we're getting super close, so let's get to work. Guys, so now what I'm going to do is check the push rod length. So what I did is I got my push rod length checking tool. I'm going to go ahead and set it up here. The engine's already at top dead center on the #1 cylinder. What I set it to is a push rod that is very common to be run on these cammed Fox bodies. It's 6 inches and 700 thousandths. I'm going to see if that works. If that's the right height, I'll just go ahead and order a set of them, and if it's not, I'll make adjustments from there. But I'm pretty confident based off of what I saw with the stock push rod length, and then what most people have been running, I'm pretty confident that this is actually going to be the length that I need. so as you can see, it's kind of down towards the lower portion of the valve stem. So I want it to be up here in the center. So I'm gonna try 6 500 thousandths, 6.5 inches basically. And we'll see if that brings this line back up towards the center. In reality, you know, guys always say like, oh, it's as long as this sweep line is small, which that is, you know, small, then you're fine. But if you're, you know, as far as valve train geometry, you really want it to be in the center here. I mean, if it's high or low, like right there, yes. I mean, realistically, it could work, but as you can see, that's what the stock push rod is high. So I think 6 500 thousandths should be right at what we're gonna need for this. So let me go ahead and get this tool set, and I'll give it one more shot. All right, so 6 inches and 500 thousandths. That to me is right on the money. All right, sweep, I mean, good enough. Right in the center of the valve stem. This is gonna give us what we need. So I'm going to order a set of 6.5 inch push rods, and that will get us the correct valve train geometry that we need. I'm gonna double check off video. I mean, the cam has the same size lobes, so it's 512 lift, 512 lift. So this one should come out exactly the same. I'm gonna double check this one really quick, not on video because you guys saw me do it once already. And then I'm going to move on and put, probably pretty much do everything else. Cause I mean, from here on out, really all I'll need to do is I can do the push rods with the valve covers off. I need to get, the transmission in. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably start working on the transmission. So here's the difference between studs. This is the pivot stud that came out of this bell housing. And as you can see, it is severely beaten and worn and had a hard life. And here's the new one. So we're gonna make sure we put some grease on this after we install it. It just goes right here into the bell housing. So I'm gonna put the lock washer on it, probably you know, a little bit of grease. Go ahead, throw it back in, and then we'll work on getting this in the car. All right, guys, so this is the part where I wish I left the engine on the stand, because now I gotta roll my fat butt under the car. I got the, went ahead and got the flywheel bolted up, torqued down. I got some Loctite on it, so the bolt shouldn't come out. About to pack the pilot bearing with some grease, throw the clutch on, throw the bell housing on, and then hopefully get this transmission in. So this is what we have so far. Just torqued these down, about to pack this with some grease. I have to clean off the surface of the flywheel. I got the clutch pressure plate all cleaned off, ready to go. And then we'll get the clutch set up here, torque it down. And then from there, I'll put the bell housing on and keep plugging away. So it's going to be hard for me to film while I'm down here. So I'm going to just do the work and then show you on the back end what it looks like after I completed it. All right, so clutch is in, torqued down, ready to go. For those who've never done a clutch before, it's pretty simple, super simple. You just make sure you put the tool in, get it on, line up on the dowels, run all your bolts in, and then once you have it fully tightened and torqued down, just pull this out and the clutch disc will stay right where it is. So, and then usually what I'll do is I'll take this tool, line it up with the splines on the transmission when I go to put it in, and it usually slides right in. I mean, anyway, gonna put the bell housing on separate from the transmission. The reason I want to do that, I want to put the bell housing on, and then I'm going to probably slip these long tube headers in, because I think I have to undo the motor mounts to do that. what I need to do now, get my engine stand out and hook it up to the upper intake, lift the engine up a little bit so I can get these long tube headers in. They do not fit as easy as I thought they would. So got the intake manifold all torqued down. I'm gonna lift it up, slide the headers in, and then we'll keep plugging away. It's a little easier for me just to put the camera down and go to work than try and film everything. I had to lift the engine back up to get these long tube headers on, just to get them in, because I really didn't feel like taking the steering shaft off, and it's really only 2 nuts. But I mean, it is what it is. Got the long tubes in, as you can see, on both sides. Actually, that AC line is a little close. Huh. Might have to clearance that header. We'll see. Now that I think about it though, as you can see, the engine is still tilted back pretty far. Once I put the transmission in and raise that back up, that should actually clear no problem. So we should be good there. Anyway, gonna come over in my mess over here. Got the transmission ready. Gonna take the shifter off, try and roll it under, and get this thing back up in the car. All right guys, so as you can see, you can put a transmission in a Foxbody or pretty much any car by yourself. I got nice and dirty. What I will say is if you are doing this by yourself, obviously trans jack can get it done, and learn how to use leverage. That's really it. I was basically able to get the trans under the car, tilt it back up, slide the jack under it, tilt the trans back over. Once it's on that jack, I'm not really doing a ton of work. I mean, I'm doing a good amount, but it's not like I'm bench pressing the thing in like I actually did on my first project. Anyway guys, that's where I'm gonna stop on the project for today. Did a pretty good amount of work. I got some stuff to do. So that's where we're at. Got the long tube set in, transmission in, upper intake is on. Waiting on some push rods. I mean, other than that, all the other stuff can start going back in the car, and still a couple other things I need to decide what I'm doing about engine management, whether I'm going to do like a micro squirt or Holly or I don't know. So we'll figure that out. Anyway guys, if you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, check out the playlist. Be sure to subscribe to see more. Thanks for watching. As always, take care. We'll see you on the next one.